Like, how are you gonna look at this? Well, see, this is what that character should have been, but instead, we got this. We got Concord. This is the Yondu of it all. But nevertheless, all I'm trying to get at is Sungrad Studios. Beforehand, this guy made a fantastic video on Concord, and now that it has fallen, now that it is dead, we now know this is September 3rd, the day we took back the video gaming industry, the Concord industry. Let's see what
September
this
the
is all
3rd.
about.
Where were you?
I just had like a whole, I think I just stroked out trying to hype up the intro to this video. Instead, let's just roll it.
September the 3rd. Where were you on September the 3rd? Where were you when you first heard the news? Concord has fallen.
We are streaming the Black.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have witnessed with our very own eyes the most important event in the video game industry in decades. Today, September the 3rd, Sony has announced that its latest title, Concord, will be discontinued and servers will be shut down September the 6th.
Damn.
Mainstream media outlets defending Concord have...
As of recording this video, it is... Here, honestly, I'm going to reset this. We're resetting this. I apologize. September 3rd, the day we took the gaming industry back, Concord shut down. Industry speech. And this is like... Concord did not die because it woke. Okay? It woke, and the DEI was a factor, but it was not the determinant on why Concord did not succeed. It didn't succeed because it was a slow, boring, generic version of a game that it was copied from, which was like Overwatch with a little bit of like Destiny graphics. And on both fronts, Destiny has better graphics, and then Overwatch just had better gameplay. So it was just a mediocre version of games that it's already duplicated.
September the 3rd.
Not that it was woke. That was just an extra slap to the face of the gamers.
Where were you when you first heard the news? Concord has fallen. Ladies and gentlemen, we have witnessed with our very own eyes the most important event in the video game industry in decades. Today, September the 3rd, Sony has announced that its latest title, Concord, will be discontinued and servers will be shut down September the 6th.
I wonder how many people went out to like GameStop, or like how many physical copies were bought of Concord for like people getting hyped for this game. Is there like 7 people?
Mainstream media outlets defending Concord have destroyed their credibility.
Yo, what's up?
And revealed a glaring flaw in the game industry. How can you trust a company who tells you the sky is not blue? We can no longer trust those major companies. The fall of Concord is not cause for celebration. We cannot afford to devolve into a culture that dances on the graves of those who tried and failed.
Damn.
But there is cause for celebration. To all my fellow gamers out there who let your voices be heard in comment sections and forums, I am proud of you. I beseech you.
I think he's wrong on this, that we should celebrate like this failure. Wins and failures need to be celebrated equally. Most oftentimes, failure, if you even get to the point where you're able to develop something, do the R&D, get it out to the market, and fail, honestly, there's a lot of that can be learned from that process. So now it's just up to Sony to go back and learn from their mistakes, which with the amount of time and money invested to it, I assure you that company is going to learn from this mistake. Because it just seems like Sony has made a lot of mistakes with Bungie, now Concord. Like Sony has to learn from its mistakes.
The road to a better tomorrow cannot be traveled by tearing each other down, but by helping each other up when we stumble. To the content creators out there who made strong the voice of your people, your fellow gamers, I am proud of you.
Thanks, bro.
To those
our favelas a little small, but we're loud.
Who researched and brought to light the unacceptable, grotesque behavior of those who would masquerade as our game developers, I am proud of you. Sony has become a tyrant, dragon of wealth at all costs.
Let's throw it out.
All the gamers out there who stood their ground and let their voices be heard, who united from all around the world, they became a powerful spear. All the content creators out there who brought to light the truth of the situation as it unfolded day to day, they became the blade of the spear that pierced the dragon's heart.
Damn, this
There
is
is a philosophy that
super
exists
scripted.
in the professional world, something
But
that
I
I've
fuck
learned
with it.
working in industry, from watching, from listening to the world around me. People love nothing more than watching a tyrant fall. For years, talented, skilled, and deserving artists and developers have been discriminated against. Instead of game companies hiring people for their ability or qualifications, they hire based on the color of someone's skin, their sexual identity, and their political views.
Obviously, we now know that how bad and damning this is, because at the end of the day, you should want the best person in that role, regardless of, you know, their sex, age, orientation, or any of that. Not because of their sex, age, orientation, or any of that.
For years, the video game industry has bent further and further toward appeasing an extremist radicalized cult raised entirely in an isolated bubble of hyperreality on the internet. The game industry has bent further and further, being infested by people who do not care about making
This
a
is fair.
good product,
This is fair.
who
It is
do not
definitely infested with
understand what a
rats.
good game is, and who do not care about what really matters. The gamers. Diversity, inclusivity, equity. I've said it before and I will say it again. Those things matter. They're important. But the people who are pushing those concepts into the public space lack the maturity, self-awareness, and understanding of social responsibility to do it correctly. These radicalized extremists are so focused on their own egos, they do not realize the damage they have caused to our culture. Never before in the past decades has there been a greater hatred, fear, and resentment towards minority groups which they think they are empowering. Instead,
It's
they are
honestly kind of
framing
fair.
marginalized groups as villains and painting targets on their backs. And this has happened because of the
That's
incompetent...
honestly kind of fair. The DEI, who is the goal is to be more inclusive and get more people in, but the people that they wanted in, the outcasts, now are getting more ostracized than ever.
implementation of supposed diversity in media. We cannot afford to go back to a time when hatred and fear was allowed to rule our hearts and minds. No more. To you radicalized extremists, receiving millions of dollars to produce products for stroking your own egos instead of serving the gamers, I say to you, no more. To you tyrants who fund this radicalized movement, who focus on pandering instead of creating
My
something
screen
of
dirty
value,
as fuck.
I
What
say
the
to
hell?
you, no more.
No more.
To you developers who would dare to call my fellow gamers, my people, talentless freaks, I say to you, no more.
To the talentless freaks, for the few of you who may not know, one of the Concord devs went out and said about the people who were criticizing the game that they were talentless freaks because they had no idea how hard it is to make a game. And sure, it could be hard, it could be damning, but if you come out with something that's shit, you want the feedback that it's shit. You don't want the delusion that your shit sandwich actually is the shit. No, it's just shit.
Rejoice. Celebrate, my fellow gamers, for today you have made history. Today, we tear down a tyrant. Let this be a warning to all the AAA development studios and publishers out there. The balance of power has shifted. There is no amount of money you can pour into marketing to hide the flaws of a product created by the wrong people with the wrong intentions. The balance of power has shifted in a way that you cannot control. Your audience has a voice. They have power.
Yeah, and now the people who really grew up in gaming, who are like my generation, not only do we have power, but now we have money. And we have money to spend. So if we don't like your shit, we're not going to buy it, and we're going to try the next thing.
And they are your equals. September the
literally.
3rd. Remember this. Let it be heard. All across the world, today is the day we took back the video game industry. To any developers or publishers out there who would dare to call my fellow gamers, my people, talentless freaks, Do this at your own peril, because I will not stand idly by and let you demean my people. Lastly,
Say it with
to
your
Sony,
chest.
you have earned some respect by issuing full refunds to all the paying customers of Concord.
I mean,
This
that's
is
literally
best
the bare
course of
minimum.
action you could have taken.
And you did
Were
take
I
it, that's
to
fair.
give you a review on your performance in this situation, I would say 7 out of 10. Good.
Not great. You know, he's honestly speaking a lot of facts. I love that Asmon has this. I'm going to steal this thumbnail idea from him. Hope you don't mind. But it does blow me away. I shouldn't say that it blows me away that a game like this got produced. What blows me away is that it got produced. People sat there in a marketing room with all this time and experience, it said, and looked at it, the market and the competition that it had, it said, yeah, this is going to work. These who cook longer in an oven before they get aborted than this game did post, abort, it not only, it got delivered and then 9 days later, got taken out back. It's insane. Truly insane.